Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our materials for Unit 1 on sketching. Today we'll be talking about why sketching is important even though we live in an age of computers and fancy CAD tools. We're also going to learn some sketching techniques that will enable us to make good technical sketches. So we want to start by saying that there are basically two types of sketches. There are artistic sketches and then there are technical sketches. Here's an example of an artistic sketch. Now, if you're looking at that and saying, wow, that's amazing, I'll never be able to draw like that, then that's fine because this is not the purpose of this class. This is a sketch that's got feeling and emotion, and this is wide open to interpretation, right? When we look at art, it makes us feel different ways. It can be interpreted in different ways. Technical sketches, on the other hand, are not open to interpretation. A technical sketch has to have a single interpretation by being drawn completely and clearly and including all of the technical notations it needs, for example, dimensions and center marks. So this is not very moving or stirring. It doesn't have a lot of shading or emotion behind it, but that's fine because this is describing an object that needs to get fabricated, and it doesn't need those things. Technical sketches give you information for objects that are going to be turned into CAD drawings at some point. Usually ideas start out as sketches, sketches become CAD drawings. After that, they go into production, fabrication. And then some of these technical sketches we'll see as we're going through, they're quite artistic. The more we sketch, the better we get at it. Maybe you were told at some point in your life that you were not a very good artist. I think we've all heard that. And, that's terrible because everyone has the capacity for making a nice, clear, neat sketch, even if we're not great artists. So here's another example of a technical sketch. A technical sketch. This is very artsy, maybe for some product design, but also technical in nature, right? Technical sketches will be used in every STEM and industrial technology field. Here we have a process and instrumentation sketch for piping and automation. Here we have an electronics sketch, and you see it's not perfect. It's a rough idea drawn out with a pencil on some graph paper. Right? This is the same kind of drawing, just a little neater maybe, but on some plain white paper. In architecture, the ability to sketch is essential. So an artistic or an architectural sketch is going to have a little bit more art behind it, but it's the same idea. We're just trying to get ideas clearly on paper. Here we've got a little civil survey landscaping type of sketch. These are sketches for construction. And what we see is you don't have to be a super duper artist. You're just trying to relay technical information in a clear way. Even video games, I love this because this is the original designs from the electronic designer who created the Pac-Man game. He took some graph paper and he laid out the maze. And he laid out the figures and what they would all look like from his official notebook. So sketching is an important skill. If we're going to sketch, we don't need a ruler or a straight edge or a compass. We only need a pencil. And in fact, a wood pencil is better than a mechanical pencil. We don't have to get a fancy pencil. And even an eraser, believe it or not, is not essential. If you lay things out with very light lines initially, you won't even have to erase when you're done with the sketch. You can leave those super light lines on the paper. So erasing is optional. You should know before you start sketching, though, that pencils come in different hardnesses. If you look at a wood pencil, there'll be a stamp on the edge, and that stamp tells you how hard the graphite is. Yellow pencils are usually HB, around here, maybe 2B. This is soft lead. And as we get higher and higher in the B numbers, well, 9B is super soft lead. It's so soft that if you look at it cross-eyed, it'll smudge. Now, conversely, going from F to H, H is for hard. So an H or 2H pencil is pretty hard lead. It makes a thin gray line. When we get up to 9H, it's like you're practically dragging an iron nail across your paper. It leaves hardly any line. Very thin, very faint, super hard graphite. We want to sketch with something around here. Soft, semi-soft. We don't want hard lead for sketching. The idea when we're sketching is lay things out very lightly and then create complex shapes out of simple shapes. And we'll see a demonstration of this in a little bit. I've got a figure here, and I'm imagining what it's going to look like, but I want to sketch it out so I can transmit my ideas to my CAD person who's going to draw it up for me and make a beautiful drawing. So I have to give him a decent sketch. So how do we sketch out such a complex shape? Well, instead of trying to sketch the outline and locate all of these elements on the inside, let's start simple. You see, because we can start with a square, and we can break that square up into smaller squares and rectangles. And then we can add some detail. And as we add detail, arcs, fillets, circles, we're starting to see the form take shape. Finally, when everything is all done, we go back in and we can darken in what we want to keep. Now, if you did all these steps very lightly, well, then there'll be nothing to erase. But if you did them with medium drawing pressure, if you can see the lines and they're kind of standing out, you probably want to go back and erase all of the construction lines you used to lay things out. So basic shape, our square, get some detail added to it, get some fillets and rounds added to it, and finally we darken in our final complex figure. Good technical sketches are not going to be perfect. They're going to have a little bit of jitter. They're going to have a little bit of imperfection. Again, if I wanted a perfect drawing, I would use a compass and a ruler and a straight edge, and I'd make everything exact. Now, just because good technical sketches aren't perfect doesn't mean they should be sloppy. It just means they won't be absolutely perfect. If the corners don't quite meet up perfectly, that's okay. If our lines have a little bit of a jitter, a little bit of wiggle to them, that's okay too. If corners don't quite touch, it's all right. We don't have to go in with an eraser and manicure the sketch when it's all done to make it absolutely perfect. It's a sketch. Here we have a little architectural drawing, a little floor plan showing where the different rooms in a house are. Again, not perfect, but clear, easy to understand. A lot of times when we think of sketching, we think of this. Now, this would be a good sketch, like a gesture sketch in an art class. We see that whoever sketched this took a lot of effort to put scribble all over it. And that's fine for art. That's not necessary for a technical sketch, though. So this is actually a bad technical sketch. So this is our lecture on sketching. You're going to look at some videos that take you through how to do some basic sketching. It goes along with the information in the course pack and the information in the Spencer Digdon Basic Technical Drawing book that I gave you a link to on freehand sketching.